30 seconds early, but we'll get through with our administrative duties. So we'll have we have the June 27th, Town of Tuxedo Zoning Board of Appeals, a continuation of a public hearing and a regular meeting. And I'll call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. The minutes for the May 23rd meeting have been distributed. I'll make a motion to approve. May I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
I abstain, I wasn't present.
Okay, then, did we have that noted properly? Yeah, we did, I think we made, yes, we did, okay, right. So now we have the continuation of the public hearing for Moise Belazar, 61 Clinton Road, area variances, proposed addition, section 203, block 1, lot 202. I'll make a motion to reconvene that public hearing. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so a couple follow-up items. I don't believe we received the mail receipts at the last meeting.
We did not.
Do we have them?
I have it. It's not with me. I told you for that.
Okay, we really need
Oh,
those.
no, I have them.
We have. Saved,
Yep, you're more thorough than
saved by the secretary. All
Are
right,
those receipts from?
The mailings
The
to confirm
certified
mail.
mail.
certified mailing, yeah. We also don't need a 239 review, so we're all set with that. As we had at the last meeting, we had a long discussion about the proposed pipe that was going to be placed underneath the addition. Concerns had been expressed. We had a long conversation. To take the Cliff Note version, our engineer had sent a couple emails out. The pipe has been relocated and the old pipe had been removed. Right, and I believe our engineer confirmed all that stuff, and that's.
The building inspector confirmed.
Yes, yeah, so from that perspective, I think we're all set there. With that, I'll offer you the opportunity to make any additional comments or questions.
No, I only had one request. I was trying to see if this is approved, preliminary approved. Is there any way that can I expedite the permit? I'm gonna be doing a lot of work myself, and they're gonna be going back to Florida in the next 2 weeks. So I was trying to see if I can get like a head start on the foundation, if possible, due to the delay of materials and the backlogs of stuff.
Yeah, so what I would offer is that's a conversation with the building department, probably tomorrow, should this get approved. And maybe the building inspector can do something. It will take probably a week to get our thing written up, signatures, and all that other stuff, but.
And he is reviewing the plan right now.
Yeah,
He's
so,
in the process.
yeah, so we'll do some stuff simultaneously, but we will do our piece, which is approve or deny, and then we'll move it on, and so I would call back with the building department, see what they can do. Right.
We do have a number joining us. as well.
Oh, all right, we have started the public hearing. So I see we have a member of the public. Any other comments or questions?
No, sir.
All right, to the individual on the screen, do you have any comments or questions you wish to propose or ask?
Yes, I do. Sorry. Yes, I just have one question. Why is there?
Can you identify your name and address for the secretary, please?
Of course. It's Daria Bukursky, and I live across the street at 64 Clinton Road.
Okay.
I just want to understand why water and dirt is dripping down the driveway into the catch basin. Ever since that pipe was put in on the side of the house, this has been happening. And I just want to understand, get some clarity why this is happening.
I think it was the hose.
It was a hose. It was a garden hose.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had it running, and it was pumping water out of the basin.
Can you either speak up?
Sorry.
yeah.
I
speaker
can't hear the
Yeah,
response.
they can't hear you.
It was a garden hose that was on. concrete basin, and I was just, I was pumping water out of it because they sealed up, the town building inspector, he wanted the hole sealed up around the concrete basin. So I was pumping the water to keep it dry because we had a lot of rain. So it was just the soot coming out of the pump. It was like a little solar pump.
So let me put, maybe when the applicant proposed their addition, I'll step back. The property is a wet piece of property. It's had water there for quite some time. So when the applicant purchased the property, they put in a dry well and a drainage pump to remove the water that would be coming into the back of the property or standing back there. The applicant had then come to this board looking to put an addition. However, they wanted to put the addition over that drainage pipe. We've expressed concern about whether that was acceptable for a whole host of reasons. And so based on conversations with the engineers, the applicant relocated that pipe from going underneath to what will go around the proposed addition. In order to remove that pipe, it sounds like the applicant was using a sump to keep water out of that dry well while he was doing construction, and obviously with all the rain that's coming on. So anything that's coming out of that pipe is sort of temporary, as the new pipe should be tied in and drained to the proper source that it's draining to. Did I capture that right?
Yes.
So, okay?
So, okay, thank you. So basically, you're saying this is a temporary issue, and it's not going to be an ongoing situation.
If we are all talking about the same thing, that is correct.
Okay, well, it's, it's hard for me to know. I mean, I do see like a hose on the side, and it seems to be coming out of there.
Right.
So
that's temporary. Right.
Okay.
That'll be temporary.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's a swamp area. I've lived here for decades, and before that house was built, it was pretty much a swamp area. I'm surprised, a house could be built on it, on that property.
Yeah, we had, at last month's meeting, his neighbor up the hill said the same thing, that they had a standing water issue, but that was not related to his project. So I usually go up on these properties. I've not been on a property, so I'm not intimately familiar. I know where it is, obviously, but I don't know the property intimately, so I don't know about the standing water, why that is.
Okay. I mean, I think the structure he wants to put up is like 550 square feet. Is that correct?
It's probably right, plus or minus. I don't have the number right in front of me.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty large for a garage. Is that all that's going to be put there?
No,
I don't know if that's an appropriate question for this forum, but.
But you had what? That was going to be like a
garage and
Yeah.
and a back.
Yeah, garage and deck and
An addition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
An addition.
Yes,
Yeah.
just a 22 by 20 garage.
Right.
And the deck and just
Right.
a little addition in the back.
So I will just comment that pretty much all that property is non-conforming. When you look at the current zoning regulations, doesn't make it right or wrong, but pretty much the whole property is non-conforming. So our objective would be to look at the least minimal impact in terms of what can be done. And while it doesn't conform and never will, because it can't, because it's non-conforming, it does seem to have sufficient area around it to not be encroaching onto others' use of the property, meaning neighbors' use of the property.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I see there's another phone number that dialed in. If you're willing to comment, could you please identify your name and address for the record? All right, I'll assume that means you don't want to speak, but if you do in the next few minutes, feel free to jump in. I'll now slide over to the board members. I know, Mark, you weren't here, so I don't know if you
I
have.
wasn't here also.
Oh, that's right, Sharon, you weren't here either. So if
Right.
either one of you have comments, and Chris, I know we had a lot of discussion, if there's any follow-up you have. So I open it up to the board now.
I have one question for Ms. Beckerski.
Yes,
Did you attend the village board meeting last night? Your name looks familiar.
yes, I did.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I took a look at the property today. I didn't leave the street, so I didn't go on the property. And certainly with respect to the adjoining neighbor to the left, he's high above you. I mean, that's some driveway he has to climb to get to his house.
Yeah.
So any concerns I had about this large garage on the north side of the house was alleviated by the fact that there's such a height differential between your property and the neighbor's property. Since I didn't go around to the back, I'm not quite sure what it will look like when it's eventually done. I understand you want to extend the house with a small addition and put a porch in the back area. Looks like there's sufficient room, but I do have one question which is not directly related to this application. There's a line of boulders, 2 lines of boulders on the south side of the property with like a lane in between the two. Was that a roadway or a trail? Do you know what I'm talking
In the
about?
block wall, that block wall?
Yes, there's two rock walls, one on your neighbor's property, one on your property, that's separated by about 12 feet of space.
Yeah, so her name is Rosie, so, there's only, the house is here, and there's a stone wall here,
Stone,
and there's another stone wall.
Right.
So that is also her, it used to be a driveway, I heard, you know, they were building, there was an anticipation to put a garage there and have that as another driveway.
So both of those stone walls, so to speak, they're not quite walls, those are on your neighbor's property.
Those are on my neighbor's
Oh,
property,
okay.
but one of those stone walls do straddle the line of the
Oh,
property.
that's fine, thank you. I have no further.
Yeah, that was never a driveway. I've lived here for over 50 years, actually. That was never a driveway. They just, when they were building that house, they just moved boulders over to the side of the driveway. But that area was never a driveway, just FYI.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sharon?
Yeah, I actually also drove by the location today, and like you, Mark, I was also initially concerned about the big driveway, but then also saw on the north side that it's quite a distance from that other house, and that did stand out to me as well. I wasn't sure, looking at, is this a 2-car garage that you're planning on putting in?
Yeah,
And your existing is what, a 2 or 1?
it's not even one, it's like half of a one, it's weird, I don't.
You can't fit a car?
No, like you like what the house, but it's like they cut into it. I don't know who usually own the house. It's like they cut into it, so I only put like my tools and lawnmowers.
So if you open that garage door, there's something in front of it?
If you open the garage door.
Yeah, currently,
Yeah,
today.
there'll be tools and just stuff that I can actually.
And you
fit.
can't actually fit a car in there?
No, it's really tight. You can't open the doors or anything.
Oh, you can't open the
So I didn't
doors?
even attempt to. I tried to, but I was like, it
Oh,
like
okay.
maybe a Geo, like a
Yeah,
Prius.
right, like a
Prius
small car
would
maybe, but,
fit in there.
okay. And I also had another question on the plan, on the plot plan. I was a little bit confused about the bulk requirements section. I don't know if you had an architect here last meeting or not, no? Because I noticed that it says new addition, but then everything throughout says existing. And I was a little confused as to which is it? Is it are you pointing out on the bulk requirements what you currently have existing or what will be for the new addition? I wasn't clear on that.
In all honesty, I don't even know how. to
Typically,
read
if it
that.
says existing,
It's
it
both.
means it's there.
It's both, where it says existing, those are the pre-existing.
Those are existing,
Yeah.
but
So-
then in the
so the whole-
first column,
The whole lot is non-conforming, like the house is
I
non-conforming?
saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's only
Yeah.
like that triangle.
that little
Right?
piece
That
in the
little
middle, right,
triangle.
that's right.
It's that triangle.
That's
That's
right.
the only thing that he could,
Well,
To be-
theoretically, the house has been
Is-
already built and it's
I was-
non-conforming, right?
wondering how is that it's built in a non-conforming,
Built
was
before,
that
it was built before the zoning code was put in place.
for the, so it was conforming for the old code?
No, there probably wasn't a code up there and they just built.
Oh, I
And
see.
then the code was put in place, like East
Okay.
Village, most of East Village is non-conforming. That
Okay,
was all kind of built before the code was
Before the
formalized.
okay, okay.
Out of the town, too.
Yeah, a lot of time, right.
The town.
And I assume that you, you determined that in that little triangle, you couldn't put the addition and the proposed deck within that triangle area and kind of flipped it. I'm assuming there was a reason that the architect did not do that. I could show you what I mean.
Yeah,
I think from just a functional,
Yeah, like,
practical use,
this
it wouldn't
is
make
what,
sense to do that, right?
this is, where you're putting it, but if you would have put it here, you wouldn't have needed a variance. So I'm just wondering if that was considered.
I think it would have needed a variance.
I think it
no matter
also
what.
went up on the hill or something, it would have been a lot of grading or something, I don't
Oh.
know why.
Oh, I
Because
see.
it's
He
like a
would have
little
needed a
grading.
variance no matter what, because everything's non-conforming.
No, but I'm saying if it would have been within this triangle, he might not have needed it. So he could have, if they considered moving this over here.
Opening the garage in the back?
No, not the
Oh.
garage, the proposed addition and proposed deck. You put it within that triangle.
Oh, I think for some reason, with the architecture, the architect that did the drawings, for cost wise,
the cost
we
reason.
didn't wanna push it anymore because she said the materials, she said it didn't make any sense, you're not gonna get that much room for the amount of money you're gonna do it. So I said, just
okay.
leave it the way it is and I'll just work on the kitchen and,
Oh.
just the bathroom, there's a bathroom there, but the bathroom is so small, so my mom, she's handicapped, so she has to get into those, into that bathroom, and that bathroom is really, really small. So that's the reason why we just did the addition, for us to dig up the ground on that side, it just wasn't feasible to do all that, so.
Oh, I see, okay. Okay.
Isn't your dry well back in that spot too?
Yeah, too, so that's another reason why we didn't wanna, touch that.
Okay.
Is there going to be a handicapped ramp to get into the house, or
Well, there is already a ramp.
there's a ramp?
And,
Oh, I didn't see the ramp, that's
yeah,
in the
there's
front?
there's no steps, so it's like
Oh, okay.
a little, so from the driveway, it just goes like this. So by
Oh,
having, so I
I-
was gonna make
The
it flat.
grading of the property is
Yeah,
ramped
so
up.
now my mom could just walk straight into the house
Oh,
from the
I
bottom.
see, okay.
Instead of walking up that ramp, cause it's a ramp, but it's very icy, it's very slippery in the winter, so she fell several times.
Oh.
So I said, you know what, let me just put
Yeah.
this plan into place, and she could walk directly through the garage into the house.
Oh, I see, through the garage into the house?
Yeah.
Oh, I see, okay. No, I have no further questions. That was the last.
Okay, thank you. Russ?
Oh.
You all set, Chris?
Yeah, I think we,
Okay. All right, any other comments from the public? All right, hearing none, I'll make a motion to close the public
Yeah.
hearing.
I
Madam
just had,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, I just have a question. Is this going to be a two-family house now? Is it going to be a legal, if you will, two-family house? I mean, is there a kitchen going to be put in the space in the addition? Or is this really just a garage and an expanded handicapped access bathroom?
Yeah, it's being submitted to us as a garage deck and, I guess, handicap bathroom access.
Yeah.
I cannot speak for what anyone does inside their house after approvals, I can only speak to what's being put before the board.
Right, okay.
Okay. Thank you. All right, with that, make a motion to close. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. So as we typically do with these non-conforming lots, we'll consider all the non-conformities, memorialize them so they're in the record. Yeah, I'll go through the five-part test first and just make note that this is for secret purposes, this is a type 2 action, and so no environmental review is necessary. Does anyone have any other further comments or questions? Everybody comfortable proceeding with the vote? All right, so I'll do the five-part test. So as, just as a reminder that the Board of Appeals in granting of area variances shall grant the minimum variance that it shall deem necessary and adequate and at the time to preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood and health, safety, welfare of the community. In making a determination for application, the board considers the five-part test, of which 5 questions are provided, and that any decision may not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance based on the answer to any of these 5 questions. Question 1, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting of the area variance. I believe the answer to that is no, there would be no undesirable change. We're talking about a garage, deck, minor additions. Anyone disagree? Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. Typically, I would say there's always another means, but since this is a pretty heavily non-conforming lot, I'm not really sure there's another way. So I will offer an answer of no. Anyone disagree? Whether the requested area variance is substantial. Considering maybe right or wrong that this is a non-conforming lot and we will be memorializing the non-conformities as variances, I would answer yes, this is substantial. Any disagreement?
I don't think it's substantial. I don't think it seems, if you forget the nonconformity, you saying because of the nonconformity?
I am because of
Okay.
we're gonna add all the non-conformities.
Because of that,
in there.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental condition in the neighborhood or district. I believe the answer is no. And then whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the Board of Appeals, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance. And obviously, since the applicant is making application on a property that will require the variance, it is self-created.
I would offer maybe not, due to the handicap accessibility.
I agree with that.
All right, so I guess it's okay to say there's,
I think it's gonna have to be kind of split in the decision.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yes, because they're asking for new ones, no, because some are pre-existing.
right,
no,
but it's okay to have that split, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, that's why I just want to
Really
make sure.
just a balancing.
Yep, okay, fair enough, all right. With that, there are 7 variances that we will go through. I can make an offer that we accept the variances as has been identified and noted by council in the memo provided May 12th, or I can go by each one individually. Is there any discussion or concern for any particular one? Otherwise, I'll just take it as one complete package.
It's fine with me.
I don't have any concerns.
I don't have any concerns.
All right, then I'll make a motion that the zoning board of appeals grant the 7 variances inclusive of the existing nonconformities as identified by council to this board dated on a memo dated May 12th, 2023. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That works, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that was, everybody said aye.
Everybody said aye. That's correct.
Okay.
All right, any other business for this board? Hearing none, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Thank you. So I would